May 2022. Now, interestingly enough, in real world, like out on the streets, there was a person, let's put it this way, I owned a house in Bayside myself, indeed. And when I lived there, before I sold that to go to Virginia, there was she called herself half Peruvian, half Jew. I don't know how. I didn't question it, whatever. Her last name was Ginsburg, but she didn't look like the Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg at all. And so they had a bowling alley or whatever. So, and her name was Jennifer. And so she took me to go visit her mom, who had some epileptic fit disease. I hear it's prevalent in the world. Just random attacks of seizures. So I go to this birthday party. They invite me to a birthday party. So I'm the neighbor of this girl, and it's for her son. So I go to this birthday party, and the mother's there. And the mother has someone else who came up. She says, I'm from Peru. I said, I did not know. And she says, I thought Jennifer would have told you. And I said, well, Jennifer did tell me that she's of Peruvian descent. She did not say that you are from Peru. She said you were from Florida. And so she said, right, these details are important to you. And I said, well, they're just what was said. I don't understand. And so she says, no, she said something about in her culture, there are something about the white witch. And I said, I don't know what that is. I said, again, I don't know Peruvian culture. I said, in fact, actually, at this point, without a map in front of me, I know it's in South America. On the continent of South America, I said, I just don't know what coast. And I said, I don't know anything about it. So we left it there. But that's like the people who have come to speak before me in my face. If they say details, they do. If they don't, they don't. But now what's really interesting is a swim lesson I had once with some guy who was at the camp that I went to, and they were giving out swim instructions to the little kids. And apparently, like, we were all, like, fighting for their attention. Because they were, like, the really important adults, because they were whether we were going to sink and drown or they were going to teach us how to swim. So, that happened. So now, this thing of my Linda, the foxhole that I arrived through, was named Linda, and she was herself a faceplant in the Garden City of this Long Island, that grew up much more poor than from the garden. She was more, whatever. Already in a besieged city, that nobody was talking about, before I arrived. That was in like the 40s, late 40s, early 50s. So there is this Lgbtq. It is not what the homogeneous, crazy kids in the urban setting made it into in their flamboyant Moulin Rouge and torrid affair with one another. It is actually a much more significant issue. But being that I am here, I have no money, no job, no platform, no anything in order to fix myself and my situation and my children's situation, which should have been fixed far before my arrival at the Linda's Garden, LG, and then baby being myself, the B, in some transition with a Q, and I am of Queen. Just for count, and then the lowercase gamma that comes at the end of county that also suspiciously looks like a tree with the baby's arms up like, please help me. For the sink and swim instructional whatever that the really important men who were in the pool were trying to teach us not to sink and drown. But here, Jen Psaki got replaced. I don't know why. Really important family member here's her position from where I am in New York in the Empire State that relies on this one piece of equipment. She being the family member that professes and sometimes gets on to the New York airwaves. She's a family member. She speaks. She can read. She's good at her job. Why does she have to be replaced by some historic whatever? These strategic pieces that have gotten ahead of me my entire life do not need to be put in places of power. That is just losing by like giving in. I don't understand where it's like, no, you may not have the podium. Where are those people standing up for Jen? I'm just curious in Washington.
White House briefing room.
Let's see who they replaced Jen with.
White House press secretary. She is the first Black woman and openly LGBTQ plus person to serve in that role.
That just means she's around the same age or time frame from when I arrived. Let's see how my life journey has gone as opposed to hers. Because she arrived apparently in Queens according to the tabloid. And yet she's in Washington at the podium speaking on behalf of the White House. How is that even possible?
Jean-Pierre will replace Jen Psaki, who is leaving the Biden administration next week. Listen to this.
This is a historic moment, and it's not lost on me.
No, actually, it is lost on you. That is exactly what losing, paying it forward, and losing forward looks like. If you need a name and a face, now you have one. Can we fix some shit now?
I understand how important it is for so many people out there, so many different communities that I stand on their shoulders, and I have been.
That just means that she is several generations in to this insidious, massive genocide in New England. It also stems to France. They mentioned that she comes from Haitian descent, which is island specific, not Pacific, specific for specks of stardust. And then she's got some French connection. Big problem.
Been throughout my career, and so it is an honor and a privilege.
This is like earth-shattering at the great beyond. I don't know why it's not being rectified and reformated into what the Reformation needs.
Privilege to be behind this podium.
You know, just away from the politics, objectively speaking, this is a historic first, as we just mentioned. And not only is she all the things that I mentioned, she's also the child of immigrants. Her parents are from Haiti. She was born in Martinique, which is part of France, but she was raised right here in New York City, in Queens.
How is that possible? Why was she moved into my area and raised in Queens? Why is Queens not being, after the fallout, family fallout, why is Queens not being cleared out and fixed? What is going on in the great beyond and the grander opry of outside of my scope of reality and expectations at this point?
She's got a beautiful daughter with her partner, Suzanne Malveaux. It's a one.
No, it's not. It's not wonderful. What it is it's a sign of a much more dangerous, insidious nature and behavioral problem that's going on during this time of very mental disease. It's star 1978. And it's, where's the endemic? I think it's about Ragnarok. Somewhere on there. Because the Hulk has already done whatever the Hulk has done. And the Ed Norton of the group, the really skinny little one, needs to go fix the plan and fix the gardening, because it's not just North America. It looks like Europe's being infected, and there's causation coming from specific islands. In case you need like a place to look for clues. At Blues Clues. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.